Tigers have been doing it by controlling the strike zone. Have you heard me say that before? Have you heard any of the Tigers say that before?
I hear you say it every week, and
One,
on every broadcast,
well,
there's
you
controlling the strike zone.
you got to see it in action as you were forced to witness it as your White Sox traveled to Detroit this weekend. And boy, did the Tigers ever control the strike zone over 4 games against your White Sox. We had Thursday game 1, 7-2 win for the Tigers. I believe at least Alex Faedo, the starter, had 13 strikeouts and 0 walks. Game 2, very different story, and I'm sure you're going to want to talk about that a lot more than the other games, but 12-3 win for your Sox. Saturday and Sunday were basically
They were bangers, man. They were great games.
Really crazy entertaining games. Both worked out for Tigers fans, much to my delight. But it basically came down to your bullpen. We took advantage late in both those games to come back from deficits late in the 7th inning or later. So
I would say the final game is a little bit Riley Green and a little bit Luis Robert. Luis Robert, if he makes the play correctly on the ball, which means just keeps it in front of him, the White Sox probably win the game. If Riley Green doesn't jump up over the wall and rob Jake Burger on his 415-foot out, then the Sox win the game that way too. So it was both center fielders, but Riley Green, incredible fucking play. Fantastic. Luis Robert, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason you're not going to make the catch, especially where he started sliding from. Why even do it? Like, I know he's trying to make a play because he had no hits in the series. So he's trying to make a play, like make a difference somehow. I get how that gets to you mentally, but dude, you're a Gold Glover, man. You're having a Gold Glove year. Don't make a bonehead mistake like that and cost your team a would-be split. So
I feel like the Tigers have to do every little thing correctly to win series like that, and they happen to do that this weekend. Things had to go their way, of course, too. But the main thing, again, controlling the strike zone. They drew 30 walks over the weekend against you guys, and only gave up 8 on the other side of it. So that is the definition of controlling the strike zone, which just getting that much traffic on base just created enough opportunities, even though the Tigers are have the worst average for runners in scoring position in the majors. So, but when you have that much traffic, eventually something's going to come through. So, with the finest margins, a 3-1 series victory win. It was much closer than that actually sounds even. So,
I mean, I was impressed with, like, I'm trying to understand the Tigers in that I know it's coming down from the front office, from your new GM, that they are to control the strike zone. Now, I don't know why any team wouldn't have attempted that in the past, but whatever.
That's why I make fun of it, because it's, of course, everyone tries to control the strike zone, but it's the methods that we're not hearing about that actually are getting that done. So,
and you have the same coaching staff as last year, and offensively, somewhat of the same player makeup. So what I don't understand is how they suddenly were seeing Dylan Cease good enough on Sunday to not swing at any of his moving pitches out of the zone. And then secondly, this stat's fucking insane. I think they had 21 2-strike foul balls.
Yeah, that's a big part.
Want to be able to extend a pitcher and get him out of the fucking game.
And frustrate and piss him off too.
Yeah. And like there were 2 pitchers frustrated in that series. One was definitely Dylan Cease, in that he couldn't put anyone away in a team that he's used to being able to put away. So you understand his frustration. And he actually had
10-1 in his career.
And I think he was undefeated at Comerica. It was the loss was at
Yeah.
home, I believe. I could be mistaken there, but I thought that was the case. And then Lucas Giolito was frustrated, but the ump frustrated Lucas Giolito that night with a rule that got unearthed that I wasn't even aware of, that the pitcher cannot be engaged to pitch to the batter unless the batter is ready in the box.
We saw that earlier this year, and I forget who it happened to. It wasn't any of our teams, but there's a loophole. Damn it, I forget who was using it, but where they would actually have 1 foot in the box and 1 foot out of the box. And actually, it was Kenley Jansen, I think, from is he with the Braves now?
Yeah.
They actually lost a game because he got burned on that twice in the ninth. And it's literally he saw the guy in the box looking at him, but they had 1 foot out, and he would start his motion, and they would call a ball on him. And that's what I think that's almost the exact same thing that was happening to Giolito. It's I mean, it's up to every pitcher to know that rule, and I think that's going to get exploited as much as possible. It's going to go away as soon as the pitchers just realize what's going on and don't let it happen anymore. But yeah, the visible frustration from Giolito was palpable. But that's the rule. I mean, it wasn't like a misinterpretation of the
No,
rule.
I
And
just had never
I
seen
think
it before. So
yeah.
I was surprised.
Yeah, I don't think you'll ever see Giolito fall for that again, but it definitely got to. I'm surprised it burned him more than once, actually. Like maybe he didn't fully understand what was going on, or he was starting to get pissed and let emotions take over. But yeah, it was definitely odd.
Yeah, it's a little tricky because it makes sense though. If he's got 1 foot out of the box, he's not engaged, and he has until the 8-second mark to become engaged. So
Yeah, they're exploiting a little bit of a loophole, but it's I
oh
mean
yeah.
it's pretty simple for pitchers to adjust to it if
Well,
they
pitchers
are
have
paying attention.
there's loopholes a little bit both ways. I mean, we never talked about it, but a few weeks ago, Corbin Burns knew, like they knew that someone was going to steal on the pitch, and he literally held the ball to 1 second and threw over to first and got the guy caught in a rundown.
Yeah,
Because the obviously he's going to take off with 1 second on the clock because the pitcher has to engage, but he engaged he disengaged and
right.
threw to the first baseman. So I like that, and I also like the I just didn't know about that rule until I saw it,
Right.
but I like that there are these rules like that allow a little bit of strategic playing to come in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think everyone's just sort of feeling out, trying to push the envelope to the edges of these new rules to find out what they can get away with and what they can't. I guess I'm just a little bit surprised this is still being experimented with. We're at the end of April. Tomorrow will be June 1st. I thought we'd see that a lot more in April, not in May. But yeah, I mean, we're still seeing it clearly, but I think we're going to see less of that as everyone's, they're going to figure out those edges, and I think we'll see less and less of those strange calls that kind of turn the momentum of the game.
Yeah. What's interesting too is, I don't know if you noticed, but guys who normally like adjusted their back gloves and all that still have more than enough time to do all that
Yeah.
shit. So it's not like oh, Paul Konerko would have never survived. Yeah, he would have actually probably just fine. Like I watch it. When you watch it closely, there's some guys who are just like, fuck it. My new regime is my new the way I'm
Routine.
working
Yeah.
routine. Thank you, not regime. My new routine
Close.
is I'm going to just get in the batter's box and go and be ready to go.
Yeah.
And they're trying to control the pitcher in a way too by doing that. Pitchers will counter, and Joe Kelly does it all the time. He will literally stand there on the mound and hold the ball until 1 second is on the clock,
Yeah.
before he engages. So
Well,
I like the cat and mouse of it all. It's been interesting.
yeah, I like it too. You did just bring up Joe Kelly, who had been lights out
Oh my God, I was shocked.
and the Tigers absolutely lit him up 2 games in a row, which was hard to believe. And a little bit controversial that Pedro Grifol brought him in the second game after being obliterated the game before. So I didn't. I always hesitate to criticize managers for their bullpen usage because there's always information we're not privy to, especially when it's a team I'm not following as closely as my teams. But I don't know if you had any thoughts. I know it was a topic on Sox Twitter, but
yeah, well, everything's a topic on fucking Sox Twitter,
we'll get there too.
We'll get there in a little bit. But Pedro has a philosophy, which he brought up earlier this year, and it worked in his favor. Ronaldo Lopez had a really bad outing, and he put him on the mound the next night, and he went 1-2-3. And his idea is to try to get the pitcher. I don't recall the situation exactly. Was it the lower third of your order by any chance, or
boy, I don't remember
now, but he tends to try to bring them out when it's like more like a 7, 8, and 9 situation.
That's the thing. There's so many variables to it other than just looking at the results. Well, why the fuck did you do that? They lost the game again. So it's just easy. It's easy to play those results.
Yeah. No. And he may, I don't, like I said, I can't recall the situation, but
I think
he likes to get them right back out there again, get the confidence right back up. So when he's needed again in a key leverage situation, but the game was close, so it was still a key leverage situation. No matter, you can't just dismiss the 7, 8, and 9 hitters. They are on a major league roster, folks. So,
exactly.
And all the managers out there listening, because I know you guys all tune in. We've seen this podcast change lineups before.
Yes, the power of the a-holes.
But yeah. So I don't disagree with his method there, but again, then you can really shatter confidence. There's a backfire to it, like we saw. Like I think Joe Kelly's
he's a veteran.
He'll long enough. He's fine.
He'll get over it. And also, getting the hell out of Detroit will probably help him as well. So
yeah. So, but you know what? Having like the sort of lopsided games to open it up, and then I had said in a serious manner, it was going to be a split.
We both agreed, actually, it was going to be a 2-2 split. So,
and it was almost that, but
it was very close. Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what happens this weekend back at the rate.
Yeah. Detroit visits Chicago right away this weekend. So that, you might be able to get your revenge rather quickly. We'll see, especially with our depleted both front end of the rotation and our best offensive player.
Yeah, I mean, if it goes the way the KC trip went, we went 1-3 in KC and then swept them at home. I'm not saying we're gonna sweep you guys.
Your record is significantly better at home, yet you're still you're still below 500 at home
by a game. Yes.
Or is it 2 games now after this afternoon?
Oh yeah, 2 games after this afternoon.
Word Hole Media.